When I'm riding, I like to ride with a whip a lot because it really helps me keep my leg quiet, and it really helps me affect an individual shoulder in a way that keeps the horse's body really loose and really relaxed. But it can be tricky to switch whip from side to side with ease, so I'm going to show you how I like to switch my whip over. A really typical thing that a lot of riders do is they try to put their whip under the reins to switch hands. And what that does to my body is it causes me to have to lose balance. It's going to make me lose contact with the reins. I'm going to have to stop what I'm doing just to get my whip to the other side. And if you know anything about the type of riding that I'm doing, it's very dependent on your seat bones. And so if your seat bones have to lock up to move the whip, that's going to be problematic for the communication that I've got going with the horse. So the easiest way to switch the whip over is over the top of the horse. And what that looks like is I'm holding my reins and I have my whip. Typically when you're not using your whip, it rests at your leg over your thigh. So when I'm ready to switch, I just bounce it over and I catch it with the other side. And that doesn't have any effect on my seat that's negative. I can just switch it on over. And once you practice it, it gets pretty easy. So I'm going to break that down on how to do it. So I'll have my whip stay on the left side here. And I'll have my hands on the reins. So I can take my reins and my whip together, and I can take my elbow, swing it up. So it's all in the elbow, and receive it with my other hand, and then pick up my other rein. So again, that's going to look like this. I'll put the reins and the whip together in one hand, switch my whip up by the elbow. So it's almost like the elbow and the whip go together, and then I receive it with my other hand. And that's a super easy way to ride, especially if you eventually want to ride one-handed. You can swing your whip over, or if you want to ride in a double bridle, it's especially problematic to try to switch a whip under this way in a double bridle. So again, I'm going to put my reins and the whip together in one hand, lift the elbow, receive, and pick up my rein. And that's a pretty simple thing to do when you're watching TV. It's kind of hard to do it on the fly when you're not really used to it, but something you can do at home is just practice holding your whip, switch it with no reins involved, and then add in the rein and just see if you can get handy with that. So really it's all on the balance of the elbow. It doesn't have to be too hard, but the thing about it is that your seat bones don't get dislodged while doing this, so you can keep your balance while you switch your whip over, and it gets pretty quick and handy, and it's not super difficult and very helpful.